still living. Louis Croft is up in Idaho, and that's what we always called him, Idaho. And one of the two. And we had two very tiny people with us, Hilda Dolson and little K.O. Erickson. And Carolyn Granger was there, Emil Kranzler, Alta Stevens, Harvey and Grace.
And you got the call then, or they got the call to go? How did you go out to California?
Harvey found out that MGM was casting for The Wizard of Oz, and they wanted short people. So we drove from Minneapolis to Culver City, California, and we all got a job.
That's great. Margaret has a really strong memory of how they were all taught their routines for Munchkinland and the makeup process. So I'll come over. Yeah, I noticed. She's little, but she's wiry. Would you tell them, please, about the makeup and about the rehearsals first, how they taught you the songs and the dances, and then the makeup process?
Okay. Well, in the morning, like when we would go to work, we would have to go into the studio makeup department, and they would put us in chairs, and I always called them the musical chairs, because we'd start out with, they put our powder on, and they put the lipstick on, and they put the rouge on, they put the curlers in our hair. So we went chair, 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 chair. And then after we went through about 10 to 12 chairs, we were all made up, ready to go. And then we would go across the street part, and we'd go into the wardrobe department, and then we'd have our costumes, and then we would get in costume, and then we'd go on the set. And then that was like the beginning of our day.
And the rehearsals? How they taught you the songs?
Oh, the rehearsals? Oh yeah, well we would sit in these chairs, and we had a piano player. And he would play the songs, and we would sing, and they lipped in the movie. It wasn't our voices, but they would rehearse with us. And then, after we would get that down pat, then we went into another room, and they had, I called them bleachers, but it was a step, 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 and we learned how to do, we're off to see the wizard step, or follow the yellow brick road. And then the ones that could do the dance, they put them in the front row, and the ones that weren't too danceable, they put them in the back row. So I was in the front row, not that I knew how to dance. When we were in the movie, we didn't make a lot of money. They only paid us $50 a week. But did you know what? Toto made more than we did. He made $125 a week. Okay, now you can have the money.
But Margaret, why did Toto make $125 a week and you only make $50 a week?
He had a better agent.
I may not be much, but I know where the punchlines are, Carl, because he was one of Leo Singer's troupe, was one of the first of the little people brought to MGM to be measured for costumes and tried out for different makeups. And as a result, he was taken around in a way most of the rest of them weren't. He got to see some of the other sets for The Wizard of Oz, and especially something happened on the apple tree set. Would you tell them about that, please?
The prop man took us from one studio into the other, and as we got into the place where the apple trees were, I was quite surprised. I said to my roommate, I said, you know that there an apple tree made a face at me. There's no such a thing as that. I said, well, I know all I had to drink was coffee this morning. So anyway, pretty soon, he apologized. He says, I saw the same thing. At that time, the prop man informed all of us. He says, those are rubber trees, There's a man in each tree, and they are checking to see what movements and faces they can make when Judy Garland comes out. So,
as I said, the Munchkins went on in show business. Some of them had not been in show business at all and spent some time in show business thereafter. But Ruth had kind of an important career change a couple of years after The Wizard of Oz and made a contribution that I know she's proud about, and I would like you to hear about.
We decided that was what, Second World War?
Not the first.
The first. I worked for Douglas Aircraft in Santa Monica, California, and I was a riveter. So I'm actually a Rosie the Riveter.
And tell what kind of plane was it?
It was a big C-54 transport plane.
And the amazing thing about, and why that is so important, is tell them in which areas of the plane you worked.
I worked on the inner wing of the C-54.
Because?
Yeah, I could get into spots for the bigger people.
Since I heard that story, I've always said that there are 4 reasons we won World War II. Ruth Duccinni and Maxine Patty and Laverne Andrews. Now Margaret has a nice memory about Judy Garland, who played Dorothy, because the Munchkins got to California in the second week of November in 1938 and rehearsed for about 5 weeks, and then they actually filmed over Christmas time. And Christmas was kind of special on the Oz set for Judy that year. Oh, I don't care at this point.
Should I tell about the... Oh, about the trade, okay. All right, and Christmas morning when we went to work, well, as we came in, they were all standing around waiting for us. And Judy comes in and she says good morning and so forth. And they gave her a pair of scissors. And they said, Judy, we want you to go over and cut this big red ribbon. And she did. And she was so excited because MGM had given her her own private dressing room. That was her Christmas present. On wheels. And you know, when you get your own dressing room on wheels, you're considered a star. So she was so excited. So when we went through, she invited us all to go through, and they had a stack of pictures, 8 by 10 photos, black and white. And she autographed each and every one of them for all the Munchkins, which there was 124. And we passed through the line, got our picture, and mine says,